Bernie Sanders behind the scenes is letting it be known that he is not happy with how Joe Biden has been focusing on winning moderate Republicans. This is from new reporting at the Washington Post, which really outlines how Bernie feels Biden needs to do a better job at reaching out to core constituencies of young people, of Latinos, and of progressives that will drive a victory for Biden and down-ballot success for the Democrats. I want to read you an excerpt from this article because I really feel it captures what Bernie is saying behind the scenes, according to those very, very close to him in these tense private discussions. It says here, Senator Bernie Sanders is privately expressing concerns about Joe Biden's presidential campaign, according to 3 people with knowledge of the conversations, urging Biden's team to intensify its focus on pocketbook issues and appeals to liberal voters. Sanders, the runner-up to Biden in the Democratic primary, has told associates that Biden is at serious risk of coming up short in the November election if he continues his vaguer, more centrist approach, according to the people who spoke on the condition of anonymity to describe sensitive talks. The senator has identified several specific changes he'd like to see, saying Biden should talk more about healthcare and his economic plans and should campaign more with popular figures among young liberals such as Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And the piece goes on like that, but Bernie is 100% right. Now, he also notes that he thinks Biden is still in a decent position. So Bernie is not necessarily, slamming the red panic button yet. The polling does look good for Biden, but Bernie does worry of a repeat of 2016 in a lot of ways, where it was felt the left wing of the party was locked in. They were either too insignificant to matter, or they were going to be forced to vote for Hillary no matter what, so you could ignore them. And the drive was towards moderate Republicans in suburbia. And they might be making the same mistake this time. And if you look at Biden's rhetoric, saying he wants to give more money to the military and more money to the police, and he's using this sort of rhetoric, it really doesn't surprise me if that strategy goes forward and fails. And Bernie elsewhere in the piece notes, again, he needs to reach out to young people, Latinos, progressives. That's what he needs to do. And somebody like AOC, maybe she doesn't have appeal in literally every community of the country. But if Biden wants to be stronger with Latinos, where he's very, very much falling behind even Hillary Clinton, if he wants to be strong with young people who are planning to vote Democrat, but you need them to come out and actually vote to do that. And progressives who may feel they have no other option than Biden, but can vote third party and certainly aren't giving all of the energy they gave to Bernie to the Biden campaign. If you can reach out to those people through Bernie, through AOC, through Rashida Tlaib, through Jamal Bowman and Cori Bush, you can have a lot of success winning over the parts of the party base that maybe aren't going over to Trump, but they're not with you yet. And he's also right in noting that Biden needs to lean in harder to working class issues, to issues that matter to working class people. The tools are there. Biden's plan isn't as good as Bernie's plan, not by a long shot, but why isn't he talking about the public option? Why isn't he hammering home the $15 minimum wage? Why isn't he talking every day about making it easier for workers to join a union and making union negotiations more effective by fighting anti-labor policy? Why isn't he doing that? Why isn't he doing that? We know Biden isn't offering enough, but why isn't he even talking about the quarter measures, the half measures that he is offering that a lot of people might say, that sounds at least okay. It's better than Trump. Hillary didn't really do any of this. Biden seems to be doing something. Maybe I'll go vote for him. Maybe I'll mark that ballot. Maybe I'll go out to the polling station and I'll vote for him. Why isn't he doing that? And it's this real obsession of trying to court Republicans, I think for 2 reasons. One, because the Democratic Party is bad at politics. They're just bad at it. And they really fundamentally believe that that's the way to win, regardless of what they actually believe in their hearts and minds about policy and ideology. They think that the only voters that matter are the suburban Republican Democratic swing voter. That every voter is John Kasich every voter is the Lincoln Project and no one else matters. And if that's your view, then yeah, this strategy does make sense, but I don't think the strategy makes sense because I don't think that's an accurate representation of the electorate, both people who do vote or people that you need to get out and vote for the first time, or maybe that haven't voted since voting for Barack Obama in 2012 or whatever. That's what you need to do. And I really think the way you do that is by reaching out to progressives. Now, there's the other option, and I think this one is at least partially accurate, that they don't want to talk about those things. And this is where it gets uncomfortable. That they're not just making mistakes, Joe Biden and the Democratic Party establishment, his campaign team. They're actually doing all of this on purpose, because if they do win, and they might well win despite all these errors, because Trump is just that bad, they don't want to have to be constrained by progressive promises. Biden isn't really talking about his public option anymore. Biden doesn't really talk all that much about the left-leaning policies that he and Bernie Sanders agreed on in those task forces. He's just not talking about them. And if you might say, okay, yeah, that's because he's reaching out to moderate Republicans, he's going to circle back to those after November. I think that's a bit naive. We've covered on this channel that, his transition team co-chairs are already saying, Donald Trump has done such a bad job that we might not have the money available to do the things that we promised we'd do. The cabinet may be bare. And so when we said we would do a public option, what we really mean is public option 10 years from now. And for this term, for the next 4 years, it's just about getting Obamacare back to where it was before Donald Trump took power. And that's a full betrayal of what Joe Biden ran on. He very much ran on an immediate, quick drive to a public option. His whole narrative was, the reason I don't support Medicare for all, there was a lot of reasons, but he said one of them was, it's too slow. People need care now, and my public option is quicker because it doesn't require a whole restructuring. Everyone that has health care can stay where they are, and we're going to build an immediate structure for the rest of people. Whether that's accurate or not, I don't think it is. The point is, that was the narrative. It's a quick program that can get people care now over the next 4 years when I'm president. And now they're saying it might take 10 years. So that's the thing. Bernie Sanders is right to be sounding this alarm. That Joe Biden isn't talking about the issues that matter to working class people. That he's ignoring young people, Latinos, and progressives. Core parts of the constituency that Democrats need to win. And of course, core parts of the constituency that rejected him during the primary, showing that he needs to do work with them. And fundamentally, I do worry, though, that at the end of the day, Bernie is sort of speaking into the wind. Because Bernie Sanders knows the truth. We know the truth. Those watching this video, we know the truth. But the fact of the matter is, if Biden doesn't want to win, if he would rather lose than run as even a moderate progressive, what else can you say to him?